Hello, my name is Justin Anderson, and I'm going to be talking about the TRIPP framework for injury prevention. If I was to explain the TRIPP method to someone that wasn't in the DAT program or wasn't familiar with it, I basically would tell them it's a six-stage process that looks at injury prevention and how it applies to the real world. So stage one is injury surveillance. What injuries are you seeing in your sport, in your population, whatever population you're wanting to look at? What are you seeing? So knowing what the problem is the first way to fix that problem. And number two, understanding why the injuries occur. Um, and this is going to take a multidisciplinary approach. So you're going to need athletic trainers, doctors, biomechanical people, anybody that you think can add to that is going to be great. Even statisticians would be good people to add to this so you can run the numbers and get good concrete information. It's going to take a little effort to find those people, and you might have people on your staff that can serve multiple roles. Stage three involves the identification of potential strategies to correct those problems that you've seen from the injury surveillance and understanding why those injuries occur. Number four is assessing the strategies developed in stage three to see if they're actually going to work in the real world. All right, so they are effective. Can they be done? Stage five is putting them out into the real world setting and see if they work. Do they stick? Are they able for everyone to do? If they're not, why not? And stage six is just that loop of everything. Did they really work in the real world, or do they need to go back to stage three or stage four to see what's going on? So compare contrast the TRIPP with the Van McKellen four stage. Looks like the Van McKellen just sort of comes up short with that real world approach to injury prevention. I really liked how the article talked about all the research that we have out there, and the majority of it can't be applied to the real world setting because it's not feasible. Those people can't afford the equipment, or they don't have the means to sustain those programs. Um, so I don't use the TRIPP method for injury prevention. Never really heard of it till we had to read the article. I really like it. Think it can be beneficial, and it goes back to a lot of the things that we've been talking about interprofessional practice, getting other people on your teams, talking to them, and seeing what you can do. If you're an athletic trainer not working in a collegiate setting, it might be reaching. You might have to reach out to a local university or research group to see, this is what we're seeing. Can you help me with that? Um, I For how to determine the injury prevention protocols that I use, it's sort of just that clinical expertise of evidence-based medicine. I'll read articles and figure out what works and what doesn't work. I really don't have a systematic method of saying yes, this works, yes, this doesn't work. Which after reading this article sort of makes me feel like I'm falling short and doing my patients a disservice. And sometimes I feel like I do waste time with injury prevention when they're not working, and I feel like it's after reading this article, it's because I'm not taking a systematic look at it and see what is specific for my population and what what injuries am I really seeing and everything else. And it goes back to that stage one injury surveillance. You know, what am I seeing? What do I need to prevent? It's more of a reactive than a proactive process, I feel like. Um, I think the strengths of the TRIPP is that systematic way of looking at injuries and evaluating the best practice to put injury prevention measures in. Some of the limitations, it's at first glance it just seems so cumbersome. Like you gotta get all these stages, you gotta get multiple people involved, and it seems like it could take quite a while just to come up with an injury prevention protocol. I mean, it may take 6 months to a year, if you follow all the steps. But I may be grossly overestimating that, and by then, people that you're working with may have moved on. You may be moving on, so it seems like it's just a little intensive with time. Um, I think with athletic trainers using the TRIPP method, it would be better if they do it in the collegiate setting and actually start working with the teams to see if, hey, if what we're thinking in the lab is actually going to work on the field. I think that could cut out a lot of time with athletic trainers like myself that are in the field and have no means to work with the university or things.